Before we get to the R1 action, there's something I need to tell you. I'm giving away my MT-09. So if you want a chance to win this bike, every $5 you spend over at motonosity.com gets you an entry into winning this bike. That includes all the Daily 100 merch, all the Life's Better with Horsepower stuff that we've had from the past, all of the classic Motonosity key tags, wristbands, stickers. It's all eligible. Every single thing on my site, $5 spent, gets you an entry towards winning. So far, I've done the Leo Vinci exhaust and some air mods and an ECU flash, but I got a lot more planned, stuff that I've had planned for a long time, and we're gonna knock this stuff out. So if you've been holding out, now's the best time to head over, grab yourself some merch, and get some entries into winning this bike. The link is down in the description, all the details are on the website, but let's get to the R1 action that we've got planned. In the last video, we installed the new chain and sprocket on my 2020 R1. I wanted to get a little bit more acceleration because posted up against the S1000, the 2020 R1 just does not have the same crazy pull that that bike has. So I wanted to make some changes. I wanted to improve the looks. I wanted to shed some weight, and that's what we did. If you want to see that install, I'll link it down in the description, but let me show you real quick what we installed. So first up was the Lightech chain adjusters. These really clean up the look. We don't have that just like boring axle block back here, and it makes it really easy to do chain adjustments and get really precise measurements. Over on the chain side, of course, we've got the new chain. This is the EK 3D chain, my absolute favorite chain that you can put on a bike. This is a 520 pitch, so I did the 520 conversion. I think the R1 comes stock as 525, but this EK 3D chain is super strong, and they're some of the best looking chains you can put on. Then it's a little bit hard to see, but we've got Supersprox sprockets, rear and front. The one in the rear is actually both aluminum and steel. The teeth are steel and the center is aluminum, so you save some weight, but you still maintain some of that strength on the teeth. Definitely a great option to go with if you're not really sure exactly what you want for a sprocket, whether full steel or full aluminum. The front is a regular steel sprocket. I think it's also a Supersprox sprocket, but nothing special about that one. It's still the stock teeth, but on the rear, I did 2 teeth up. But last video was the install. Today is the first ride, so let's head out on the bike and see how it feels.
All right, step 1, start it up. Perfect. Step 2, just make sure this thing rides. No, actually cleaned up the chain, lubed it again with my regular lube. Still a lot more wax to get off of there, but at least I won't be flinging all of it on my freshly cleaned wheel. Test out the regular riding. Everything seems to be in working order. I don't hear anything strange. All right, time to test this out. Oh my gosh. Yes, baby. Oh my gosh, I gotta put this up against the S1000 now. That feels so much better. Oh my goodness. Exactly what I was looking for. Not too crazy, but enough to get that that solid pull in there. Yes. Heck yeah. Now, the speedometer is certainly not accurate anymore. Now, if you do a gearing change, your speedometer is probably not going to be accurate anymore. It depends on how your bike determines its speed, whether it's from a wheel sensor or not. In my case, it is not getting the speed from a wheel sensor, so the speed is not accurate. Because my bike, and most bikes, is programmed to determine the speed based on how often that front sprocket is turning, but it doesn't know what tooth count you have on the front sprocket, and it does not know what tooth count you have on the rear sprocket. So the bike still is making that calculation assuming all else is stock, but now it's not. So just know that with most bikes, you're gonna have to correct that speedometer if you wanted to read the accurate speed. Cops are out to play, but they're not gonna get me today. Man, I'm so happy with how that feels. And oh my gosh, the look. It looks so much better now. Told you, it's the third one I've seen. So doing a sprocket change is another one of the, bang for your buck mods that you can do for performance. That and ECU flashing are definitely the top two that you can do. Now, of course, the first thing you need to know, I mentioned earlier in the video, if you go down in the front or up in the rear, that's going to increase acceleration but decrease top speed, and vice versa. If you go up in the front or down in the rear, that's going to decrease acceleration but increase top speed. The second thing you need to know is that every single tooth in the front is equivalent to 3 teeth in the rear. So if you go down 1 tooth in the front, it's equivalent to going up 3 tooth in the rear. And on a sport bike, in almost all cases, you're not going to want to go more than 6 teeth in the rear or 2 teeth in the front, because that's a drastic change right there. I know one of the most popular mods on 600s is to go 1 tooth down in the front and 2 teeth up in the rear. I think that's a little bit too much in my personal opinion. If you go watch a couple of videos I made on my 2017 R6, both when I did the sprocket change and then on a couple top speed videos, I think the final tooth count that I said I wish I had done, because I think I just did 1 down in the front, I think I said that I wish I had done 2 teeth up in the rear, and that's it, which is what I did on this bike. Obviously this is an R1, not an R6, but I really didn't think that this bike needed too much either. On my 2009 R1, I did 1 tooth down in the front. It's all going to depend on what you want out of the bike, whether you're racing it, whether you're just riding on the street, what types of tracks you ride. All that will go into your decision, and just doing these types of changes and riding a lot will help you learn how those changes affect the bike. Of course, I always recommend doing a chain at the same time that you do the sprockets. You definitely don't have to do them at the same time. Just keep in mind how the length, the wheelbase of the bike will change depending on your sprocket size if you use the stock number of links on your chain. The acceleration is unfair. I had a microphone issue yesterday. My microphone got disconnected, and so I lost like half the video that I had made from riding this thing for the first time, but took it out today. Granted, today is much less nice of a day. It's cloudy. It's not that cold though. It's not cold, which is nice. Something smells good. Daily 100 time. There it is. So yeah, this thing is ridiculously quick now. Someone commented on the fact that I should have done the gearing change for top speed, but here's the thing. It doesn't really make sense for me to gear this thing for more top speed because it already struggles getting up there in speed. Like once you get to like 130, 140, this thing starts slowing down. It's not like my S1000 where this thing is still pulling hard at like 160. It just wouldn't be usable top speed, and it would make this thing feel slower where I already don't want it to feel slower. That's how this thing should have felt from the factory. It feels now how the S1000 feels, like in terms of raw acceleration. Of course, it just doesn't have the power that the S1000 has, so it can't maintain that acceleration as it really gets up there. But at least now, you know, in regular street riding where you really want some more pull on the bike, it can do that. It feels really nice, and I think going 2 teeth up in the rear was the perfect decision. It's a very nice balance. I don't think I'd really want any more than that. I'm in 2nd gear, like pretty low RPM, right around 6, and you know, if I go immediately to 100% throttle, this thing wants to spin and pop. It's just, man, I'm telling you guys, if you have not planned on doing a chain and sprocket kit and making some changes, you really need to, because it will make your bike feel like a new bike. First mod you should do on your bike is some sort of flash or tune, whether it be an ECU flash, a piggyback unit like a PC5, or a rapid bike tuner with an auto tuner, or a full-on dyno tune. That should be your first mod. But once you've had that for a while and you want your bike to feel like a new bike again, do a chain and sprocket kit, and again, you'll have another drastic change with how the bike feels. I'll have all the products linked down in the description for what I put on this bike. The chain, the sprockets. I really think that going up 2 teeth in the rear is good on this, and 2 teeth up on the R6 is absolutely perfect. Like, any less, any more is not the right combo on that bike. Take it from someone who went through the effort of doing the top speed testing with the different sprocket setups. Oh geez, why is this wet? It did not rain. It's like, maybe it, oh, did it rain? It's just so nice, so nice. Woo, I love it. It's just, like, this is middle of the power band. Sound as you bang through the gears. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If it helped you out or if you liked it, make sure you hit that like button. Subscribe if you're not subscribed already and you want to see more of this. If you want to see any of my chain and sprocket videos and top speed videos from my R6, I'll link those down in the description so you guys can check those out as well. If you want to get out of my merch, motonosity.com. Again, every $5 spent on the site gets you an entry into winning my 2014 Yamaha MT-09 FZ09. We got a lot of fun stuff coming up for it. I'm glad that I went this route, and I'm glad one of you guys is going to get this bike. So head on over there and check things out. Otherwise, you guys have been awesome. I've been Motonosity. Remember, life's better with horsepower. Keep life lived, and I'll see you guys in the next one.